Test, 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 test. Can you all hear me? Good morning. Can you all hear me?
Yes, Chef.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey guys, good morning.
Morning, Jeff.
Morning, Chef.
Good morning, Chef. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Chef, just
Yes, Chef.
homeworks I have only for 13 persons.
Okay. I will call or I will text everybody and
We can talk today at the beginning of the class, Chef.
yes.
Hi, Joe. Chef Cliff, did you put the makeup for Joe?
Yes,
Thank you,
yes,
Chef.
I did.
Morning, chefs.
Good morning,
Morning.
Lyric.
How was your weekend?
Busy. Was busy.
I believe it.
It was good.
Excellent.
What about you?
It was a mixture of busy and it was great at the same time.
That's good. Derek, are you there? Hey, Derek. Hey, I have to say, my friend, I'm really happy with your job. That was excellent. So the best of everyone that already sent us. So that was great job on put that demographic clearly. So happy with your job. Just want to tell you. Shan, you too. Very well done.
Thank you, Chef.
That was very well done. Well explained. The demographics clear. That was awesome. So we're gonna keep working on that today. From the people that have been sent me, the majority I'm okay with that. I'm very happy. Richard, are you there? Richard Brown?
Yes, chef.
Yeah, we need a little more work on your demographic. It's too general.
Yes, chef.
Okay. Lyric Martin.
Yes, chef.
You two need to work a little more on your demographic, okay? Needs to be more specific. Jonathan Swanson.
Yes, chef.
That was good.
Thank you.
Christopher Wells, are you there?
chef.
You need to work more on your demographics. You cannot be so generic. It has to be more specific, okay? Still more work.
Hey, chef,
Yes, Eric.
can you explain what I need more of? Because I don't actually know what more to do with that restaurant demographics when I was doing.
Let me check it. I will tell you, okay?
All right.
Sorry, Chef, I got kicked off. I don't know what happened.
Make the effort to invest, you know. Sometimes the restaurant invest, they help them to put some money in advance to help also the farmers to do their job and show that you're really interested to do on that, and you're not gonna leave them, you know, with the products, and you're not gonna buy it at the end. So you have to guarantee them that you're gonna be serious with the farmers. So it's both ways to work. So, and yes, so that's it's always, you know, you have to be sure that the suppliers are an important part of the business and are our partners. And they are our partners. So if you know how to work with the suppliers, you know that they will do a lot of efforts to help you guys. And sometimes they give you credit, isn't it? That will be fantastic. They help you with promotions and things like that, and they help with your business a lot. So they will invest in your business if you are really serious and willing to work with them. So as soon as you have all this purchasing process put it on all these procedures, you know, one of the procedures is the orders. You know, you have to put an order. So you have to make a procedure to establish the order, the you know, supplier orders, and there are supplier orders for food and things like that. And those orders that the suppliers has to be who are the ones who are authorized to buy for the restaurant, isn't it? Who has to
Yes.
sign? And the sign maybe needs, you know, a check from the controller, you know, because there is limit budgets that you can give it to somebody, you know. You cannot give them to the chef, you know, unlimited authorization to buy everything he wants. That will be disaster. So they have limits on how much they can do it. And if they pass the limits, they have to go and ask for authorization and explain why they want to do and all that. So as soon as they have that order is going to go to the supplier, and then normally it's going to have a couple of checks, you know, from maybe the chef, you know, maybe the supplier, and maybe the controller, the food controller. So 3 checks, triple checks before he gets to the supplier. So when it gets to the supplier, a copy of that is going to be one to the receiving clerk, isn't it? So when they receive it, they should know, and maybe one to the storage area if the storage area has a place. If they have online systems, automatically online it comes in the computer, so you have it there. When the supplier comes with the products, you know, they just print the info and they have to receive with a list of what they order. And if there is discrepancy, that's some, it's very common to have discrepancies, you know, and volumes. You ask for 10 and they couldn't get it, you know, they're gonna have 8. And so you have to do all these reports, and we can make an evaluation of how it is going, how efficient is the supplier, how good is in the way that they do it, you know, and we understand why, and we're trying to understand the business better and control the process. So this is what happened all around the purchasing area. Somebody has any questions about this? No? Okay. So there you are. So then we have the receiving area, isn't it? So when the food coming, we need to have somebody trained to receive the food, isn't it? So,
Yes.
guys, what are the kind of training that this person needs to know when they have to receive the food? Who can tell you?
You got to know the temperature. You got to know what the freshness of like your produce looks like.
Yes.
Yep. And you have to like, inspect your cans as well to make sure they're not like dented up or anything like that too.
Exactly. So thank you, Larry. That was perfect. So this is exactly what they do. You know, that person is going to receive under the high standards that we put it for our products, you know, all the things. So the guy will have thermometers to be sure that, you know, let's see if we have dairy that comes, you know, all that dairy is in the temperatures that are required, you know. If we have frozen things that we buy, they're gonna go and check the frozen item. So you're gonna, did you already make the ServSafe, guys? No?
No, they haven't. I don't
Okay.
think so.
So when you're gonna get to
Actually,
the next,
Jeff,
okay.
I have mine. I have to renew mine in February.
Okay, so majority of you guys are gonna get into the next block, and probably you're gonna have that ServSafe to do it. And this on that ServSafe, you will see how we receive the food, isn't it? And how we check the temperatures, where we put the thermometers when we have to check temperatures. How do we open the cans to check that they are okay, you know? And we have to check everything, you know, like even the cans, you know, like metal cans that comes like tomatoes and things, we have to put attention to that and be sure that they are not, you know, they are not show any symptoms to have any damage, isn't it? We have to be sure that the things that we call like sacks of sugars and flours and things are in perfect conditions, that there is no any holes made from animals, you know, little bites made from mites, you know. You have to show it, you know, be sure that everything is in perfect conditions. If something is not correct, the guy is not going to receive that, and it's going to return that product to the supplier, and the supplier has to, they can argue. They cannot do nothing. They have to receive, return it, and maybe give you back something. So when that happens, the suppliers know the necessity. So when they do it, it's going to take maybe 1 or 2 days to replace the amount of, you know, sugars or flours or whatever you do when you return it because it was not okay. Make sense?
Yes.
And we don't want, as Larry says, you know, we don't want inside of the restaurants, you know, like cardboard boxes. Why, Lauren, we don't want cardboard boxes inside of the restaurant? Yes, Lauren Bailey.
Sorry, Chef, I didn't know which one you were talking to. Can you please repeat the question real quick?
So we are in the receiving area doing, and why we don't want inside of the restaurant cardboard boxes on the storage area.
Cardboard boxes in the restaurant area. For one thing, it looks really bad. Another, I mean, I'm sure there's some sanitation reasons why too, right?
Yes, and what will
Okay.
be those sanitation issues, Shan?
I'm sorry.
Shan, what?
It invites pests into the restaurant. There could be
Yes.
mites inside the
Yes.
boxes before
So
they
you
come in.
we can have all kind of things inside of the boxes inside, you know. It's better to leave those boxes outside and put just the product inside of the storage area. So yes, good guys. Yeah, so there you are. So that is the receiving process, you know, and they check and they put the okay. So they're gonna pay the supplier only when they have the okay from the receiving guy, isn't it, Chef? So they have to sign
that is
and put the
correct.
stamp that this will receive it, you know, and with that, that's going to send a copy to the accounting area to be sure that they will pay for that food. So normally in the restaurant industry, we establish which day of the week we pay, and we have, you know, maybe twice a month that we do that, or once a week we have established that the checks are coming and the suppliers can come and do that, because also, you know, the restaurant is busy. We cannot be paying checks all day and any time they want it. So we have for that normally schedules to pay. Don't you think, Chef?
Yes, that is correct.
So there you are. So we want those reports, and then from the receiving area, as soon as we check and receive it, we get into the storage area. In some places, guys, and some restaurants, like high quality restaurants, what they do is on the receiving area, they classified everything. And what they do, they recycling the cardboards and all that, put it on the side. They have sinks where they wash the vegetables and clean it, you know, and dry them, and then they get it into the kitchens. Everything clean and in perfect conditions. You don't want to put dirt inside with insects and animals. So we want to be sure that they are all nice and we'll wash it and clean it, you know, and then everything gets in proper containers, you know, that we have for that. So that's another thing, you know, the restaurant need to count with special containers that we can put it in the storage areas. If we have to put it normally in refrigerator, we normally tend to have plastic containers that you can see what is inside, isn't it, Chef?
Yes, that is correct.
And we cover with lids, and people know exactly what things that you can do inside. And you know, there is also products that we don't know necessarily needs to be refrigerated, isn't it, Chef? Like onions. Onions you don't need to refrigerate, and some things that you don't need to refrigerate, but you need to a clean place to put it in the storage area. One thing that is important on the storage area is we have different areas for different products, isn't it? So let's see, Christopher, what kind of storage places we have in the restaurants for the different products?
Well, you'll have a dry storage for your grain,
Yes.
like your flour, your rice. You'll have a more refrigerated temperature control section for your meats and your perishable items. And then there's should be a colder, more freezer-like area for things which need to be kept longer than just being out right away.
Yes, that's correct.
So it doesn't grow, so the bacterial process halts and it stays fresher longer.
What else?
Your chemical and cleaners needs to be away from your food.
Yes, that's clearly has to be like that. Yes.
And when it comes to your labeling, your labels should be visible right away.
Yes.
So you aren't having to search for what label and the date. It should be present right as you walk in.
One more extra storage area you need for what? You're missing one.
The last one I don't remember. Sorry, chef.
Yes. The last one will be for, you know, papers and linens and extra silverware, extra plates, isn't it? And all these things that we have in the restaurant that we bought it, you know. And we normally call that area a steward area, isn't it, Chef?
Yes, that is correct.
Where we have all those items that they're extra in case that it's needed, isn't it? And it's controlled strictly from the I would say the accounting area, you know, that they really want to be sure that nobody gets in there until they have the real authorization to pull the things out of there. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. So then, you know, inside of the refrigerator, inside of the storage area, we have systems to control the items that are inside, isn't it? Who can tell me one of the systems that we have in the storage area to be sure that we use properly the products?
FIFO.
FIFO, isn't it? So that's one system that we put it that be sure that the first things that come in are the first things that getting out, isn't it? Yes. And also another thing that we have is a system to be sure that we can have automatically, as soon as we get to a point that we lost inventory, isn't it? We can deliver a new ordering of food without has to doing too much. So we have this system that we call perpetual inventory, isn't it? That we can just count how is this having, you know, or just we have maximum and minimums in the restaurant that we established that are very simple, isn't it? A system of maximum and minimums for every product that are over there. And normally in the system, as soon as they get to the minimum limit, automatically it tells you that you need to order to the maximum that are needed. And that is enough time to be sure that you have time to put the order and the supplier to deliver to your restaurant, and you still have product there, isn't it? So you need to have that caution so you don't get out of products in the middle of the operation of the restaurant. So there you are. So those systems, they are there. And when the depleted inventory, we have to order immediately the food, so we automatically let's go there. So when the system tells you that it needs to buy it, normally, you know, it's easy to get an authorization for that. But if they need something that needs to buy it and bigger orders, maybe the authorization has to go to the owners, to the executive chef, or somebody in this management commits that it's legally authorized to bigger amount of food. Let's see, there is a big event and they need to buy things that are out of the normal purchasing, isn't it, Chef? So they have to just justify that, and they have to get it on these products. So now the next step, it will be prep, isn't it? Preparation. So on preparation, we have a lot of elements over there, isn't it? First of all, standardized recipes. That's the first thing, you know. We have standardized recipes for every dish that we have to produce in the kitchen. With these standardized recipes, we make what we call standardized mise en place, isn't it? What means mise en place, guys?
Everything in its place.
Yes, that's the word that means everything in its place. Thank you so much. That's correct. So what we do is we standardize that mise en place. So when people come in the morning, they will check, isn't it? And it's different every day because you don't know how the restaurant is moving the day before, isn't it? So from the day before, there was always a little leftovers put it outside, that people has to go and check if this is okay, if they have to move it, isn't it? As example, if they have protein that they don't move from one day to another, what will be the correct way to move that proteins, guys?
Can you repeat the question?
Okay. So every day we pull items, isn't it, from the storage area to the production area where they've been storage in the wrong refrigerator. So we have two ways to a storage area. One in the storage area itself, and second inside of the kitchen, isn't it? Where the product is going to come out ready to be used in case that is needed. It makes sense? So every day we pull products with the idea that it's going to be sold, isn't it? But we don't know for sure. So we always put extra over there. And when the day come at the end of the day, we're going to have proteins leftovers and food leftover from one day to the next, isn't it? Make sense? So why don't we have to request only things that are needed, missing to replace, isn't it? It makes sense? So they make, at the night, the chef is going to make an inventory and says, this is what I needed, or the person who is on the line, and they order, the part stock that they need for the proteins. And the same thing with the rest of the things that they need for the mise en place that they already built. So they have, and next day they come and check the mise en place and what needs to be replaced, what needs to be done. So every day is different. That's what I'm talking. So people are going to come on the day, and normally, guys, the brigade that is coming to do the mise en place is not the same brigade that is going to be on the line at the moment of cooking. Why is that, guys?
Different shifts.
Yeah, that's one. What's the other reason?
Prep cooks and line cooks.
Timothy, can you repeat?
I said prep cooks and line cooks.
Yes, why prep cooks and line cooks are not the same?
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay, because prep cooks, normally they have less wages than line cooks. So line cooks, you pay more because it's more specialized work. So you don't want the line cooks do the job of the mise en place. It makes sense? So normally you bring these prep cooks to do that, and they do it during the time that the restaurant is normally not working on the restaurant area. So they will work early in the morning, and they will work early in the afternoon. It makes sense, guys?
Yes, chef. Yeah.
So these guys are going to pull all the restaurants, and they check in the morning, and after the lunch, they check what they have needed to produce, and they come back and they produce all these items and be sure that they do it. Now, the people who are in the lines, the line cooks, they need to know the recipes, perfectly well in the way that they produce and they so. To avoid the problem of portion control that coming in an appropriate way, how we control the portions in the restaurant, in the lines, guys? Who can tell me? In the kitchen.
You have scoops, you have like different portion size cups.
Yes.
You have different bowl sizes.
Yes.
Different spoons.
That's correct. And what other things, Shen?
Scales.
Scales,
Yes.
Joshua, yes. What else?
Each individual portion.
Yes, that's the most important thing also. And we individual portion, especially what is that we individual portion, especially?
You over portion and give too much. So then you have to make extra, which is food waste, and because you're using too much at that point.
Yes, yes. So what will you portion it? Pre-portion it specially.
Proteins.
Yes. So proteins, the people who come to the prep lines, isn't it? They have to be sure that they process all the fish, all the things, isn't it? They portion, they cut it, and they deliver, you know, under inventory to the prep lines. So the prep lines, what they're gonna say is that they receive with a checklist, isn't it? They have a checklist. They open before they ship, and they check and they count their inventory. Because what are we giving to the guys? For the owners, what we give them to the line cooks is money, isn't it? So they have to check. So they get into the inventory and they check. They get their checklists and they go one, and they check that they have everything, all the shrimp, all the fish, all the pieces of meat, everything that are needed. Put their sign, they're good to go, and they go and jump to the mise en place and they check that all their mise en place, the things that are needed, are done. Let's say, you know, stocks, demis, vegetables, cut vegetables, everything is over there ready to be worked. And as soon as they start working, they get into the line, they work, and when they finish the line, what they're gonna do is they're gonna clean the stations, they're gonna pack everything leftovers, isn't it? They're gonna check, be sure that everything is put in containers with their labels, put it back on refrigeration if it's needed, you know, and they're gonna get into the proteins and they're gonna count the proteins and they're gonna deliver to the chef or the executive chef or the sous chef who is in charge how much they have been used. So what is the executive chef gonna do? It's gonna check the amount of proteins that they're putting over there against the sales. It makes sense?
Yes, it does.
So what is gonna say is how much. So today you sell, you know, let's put it this way, 17 New York steaks. So you have 24. So you need to have 7 over there. Let's check if you have 7. And the guy says, yes, I have 7. And says, okay, the same thing we have. You need to have 24 pieces of chicken breasts. How many you have over there? You sell, you know, let's see, I sell 15. So you need to have 9. How many you have over there? You have 8. What happened? Why you have 8? So then they check it and says, oh, that was one return. The guy returned. And so the guy goes, why was the return? And they check it and they have to inform. So if we have control of that operation, we know exactly what happened. It makes sense? That's the kind of control that you want into the kitchen. So now the control of the quality and the delivery of the dishes on the standards, it's doing by normally the sous chef or the a person on the line that is controlling the quality of the food coming out. What is the name of that person on the line that is controlling the dishes that are coming out?
The expediter.
Exactly, Larry.
There you go.
That is the expediter. Yes, sir. An expediter is one of the most, I would say, experienced persons in the kitchens, you know, and normally that person has been part of the whole group since the beginning of deliver when they start working on the recipes and all that, so know exactly what to do. There you are. That's the prep, guys. So we have all these systems put it there to be sure that we control every part of that preparation area, isn't it? So because as you know, if we have just 10%, a little extra on the portions that are coming out, that can be like 3 or 4 points in your cost, you know. And as you know, that will be a lot of money that we lost. So on the kitchens, we have standardized recipes. portion controls, and requirements for food safety, isn't it? That's something that every person in the kitchen needs to know, and those are standardized. So what make this works? Training. For this to work, you need training people, isn't it? That know exactly how to utilize the elements in the more efficient way. And then it goes serving, isn't it? So there you are. So there is a system of servings. So let me put it this way. You don't want the servers inside of the kitchen, because the servers has to be outside attending the table guests, isn't it? So normally what we have in the kitchen is a person that we call the runner. And this person is the only one who is moving the plates from the kitchen out to the saloon. So you have just one person doing that instead of the servers, you know, coming inside from the serving area, you know, disattending this, you know, forgetting about the guests because they have to fight for their plates in the kitchen. So that you see a lot in cafeterias, you know. You don't see in the restaurant business, you know, the people who has attending the tables, they just attending the tables, and then somebody, the runner, is going to come with the dishes coming out from there. And they give it to the server so that the server know exactly who are going to serve to which. So a good restaurants, they put attention on who is the first person, the second, and so on and so on, that they're going to serve the food. So bad service is when the owners call, when the server comes to the table and says, "Who ordered this? Who ordered that? Who ordered that?" Isn't it? And if the system is well designed, they know exactly when the order comes, who ordered what, and they come and deliver exactly to the person. Isn't it, Chef?
Yes, that is correct.
So that's a system that we have to be sure that we have. So there's a system of complaints. What happens if there is a complaint from the restaurant? Who that complaint is going to come from without the disturbing of the rest of the people? We don't want fights in the kitchens, isn't it? Just a complaint that goes straight to one person. Normally it's going to be the chef, the sous chef who is in the kitchen, and that guy has the responsibility to fix it in the faster way. So when you have in the line, guys, people working and the tickets are coming, and then you have a complaint, so there is this special orders that the guy is going to come and says, "Hey, we need to fire out this dish because this has to come immediately or faster," and they have to move it in the first of the line. So there's a lot of things happening inside of that kitchen, and it's the control of the person who is normally, you know, the expediter or the sous chef that is controlling the timing in the kitchen, isn't it, Chef?
Yes, expediter always helps with the timing.
So, and the guy is always there, and the people who are in the kitchen, they are hearing the guy, because that is the guy who controls the heart, the pumping, you know, the pumping, how it's moving, how the restaurant is moving. So there is a connection.
He does this.
Yes, Chef.
Go ahead. My apologies.
No, go ahead. Go.
He sets the pace. He sets the pace for everything. So he or she sets the pace. So whoever it is one of those people that, you know, they're the ones that set the pace. They're going to be keeping it going. So expediter is very important. Go ahead, Chef.
Yes. So that communication between the kitchen and the restaurant is super important to have get satisfaction. So what is that communication? They communicate the speed of the tables. How are they eating? Are they going to slow? Are they going to fast? They need to move it on. They need to stop because they are just talkers and they are eating very slow. So they need to communicate that so the kitchen don't put the dishes out and the dishes are cooling outside because they are already done. Makes sense? So this attention to these details, this pace and how it moving is controlled by the expedited. Don't put it out, keep it inside, keep it there. Okay, and then he says, fire this, fire that. And that's the dishes that are coming, and they know exactly that pace that is coming out in the kitchen. And this is just a full communication between one side and another. And for that, there's these channels, there are these procedures that they know exactly who are they going to talk to. There you are. Also on the sides of the restaurant, there is things that they have to do also, isn't it? Sometimes on the serving area, they have to take care of the bread, as example. They have to take care of the butter. They have to take care of all these things that are coming. The water, the extra things, maybe the amuse bouche, little things that are coming out. They have to control that pace on site and be sure that they have everything, over there. As here, we have a lot of chips and salsa that sometimes we put it on the tables, isn't it? And that kind of thing, it has to move perfectly in the way that is done. So they have to do some prep sometimes before the restaurant. They have to control all that areas also, and be sure that they have enough for the restaurant work. Then, inside of the serving, of course, the procedure of how they do it, how they take the orders, who is first, who is second, how they write the order in a way that when they come, they know exactly who are going to be first and second and third, they put this attention to that. And there is a protocol for that, like, what is the protocol to serve on the tables? Who can tell me? Who you serve first on the tables? Bella.
I think women.
Women?
Yeah.
Yes. Or elderly, if they have elderly people. Or if they are children's first, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then there is always, on the table somebody who is the main guest, or how do you say that? The main guest chef, the one
Guest
who
of
is
honor.
Yes. And they have to put attention, and how do we move in the restaurants? On the way that the clock is moving, or the opposite?
So are you going to go counterclockwise or clockwise? Someone say clockwise.
Why?
And someone says counter. Someone explain why, or is it just guess?
I'd say clockwise because for me it would, keep me, more, I guess, knowing which, one. Because going the opposite, it kind of, to me, it would defeat the purpose.
Yeah, it depends on type of service that you're putting over there, guys. If you're doing French service, that serve on one side or another, that's how you move on one side or another. It depends on the type of service that you put on the table. If you do like if you do American conventional service, so what we do here is all the dishes come from the right, and the water come from the right, and we just pick from the left. It makes sense? So if we put in the right, everything from the right, how the waiter is going to move on the tables? If the waiter has the plate in the right hands to put it in the right side of the customer.
Clockwise.
Did you understand my question, guys?
No.
Okay, so how do we serve? Normally there is a standard for serving, isn't it? So the waiter is gonna come and he's gonna serve for the right side of the customer. So plates are gonna come and they're gonna serve for this side, for the right side of the customer, isn't it? And we're gonna serve liquids and we're gonna serve plates for the right side. And we're gonna take the dishes maybe from the left side. So if we're gonna start serving for the right side, what will be the normal movement that this guy has to do in the table? In the direction of the clock or opposite?
Clockwise.
What do you think, Chef?
I'm guessing, wouldn't it kind of depend on, I guess, the server's, if it's the right hand or left hand, because sometimes the server could be right-handed and then it would go clockwise. Sometimes the server could be left-handed, then it would go counterclockwise, I would think.
No, that's not the way to work. It should be a standard established in the way that we serve in the restaurant, don't you think, Chef?
Yes, that is correct. I think.
So everybody should be served from the same side. The side that the procedures are deciding. If you're gonna say, I'm gonna serve my guest and all the dishes are gonna come from the right side of the guest, so that means the server is using his right hand to put the dishes on the right side of the guest, isn't it? So if I have two dishes, in my hand, I'm gonna go and put it on the right side, and then I'm gonna move it to the next one. So if I have to do that, the normal will be move against the clock, isn't it? Because that's the way that I'm moving myself. It will be easy for the waiter to do that. So saying that, guys, that type of standards are standards that we put in for the service. How are we gonna do it? How you want the dishes to be put in and recollected from which side of the guest? Of course, also it depends of the conditions of the tables. There are tables that you cannot go straight on that, and maybe you have to cross it because they are in a mode and sitting in a mood or something like that, isn't it? But normally they have to get into that procedure for every table. No comments, Chief? Everybody's kind of silent. So next thing, how do you push the guests so they can move faster to be sure that you keep with your reservations?
Could you say that one more time? I didn't hear you.
What will be the procedure to close the table from the point of view of the service? How we trying to push the table to close when we have a system of reservation to move and the table is getting slow, as example. So there should be a procedure for that. Richard Brown.
Way to get to push the table to close. If they start to slow down, you honestly, if they haven't already got dessert by that point, you ask them for dessert. And once you ask them for the dessert, this is something I learned as a server. After you ask them for the dessert, normally they just ask for the check, they get their check, and then they end up leaving. And then the table ends up closing because they don't want dessert. And when you ask them if they want dessert, that obviously shows them that they've been there too long. And
Yes.
that's just the trick I learned.
Yes, exactly. So a good way to serve the dish when the guy comes and asks for the you want the check, isn't it? So when the server comes and asks if you want the check, it's almost telling you that it's time to leave, isn't it? And people understand very well that that's what happened, that there is reservations coming, you know. But sometimes they don't, you know. One day I take my reservation, I go to the restaurant, and I'm sitting there, and the guys don't want to leave the table. And the guy comes and says, "This is your table, and these people are not moving. So what I'm gonna do is, okay, if I move it to this other side, because they don't want to move." And these persons, you know, it's always that we were there for the table, and they don't want to move. They want to show their power. And you cannot tell them, you know, you have to leave. You cannot do that, isn't it, Chef?
That is correct. You can do that.
So all these things happen, you know, so there is procedures for all this. Take their order, you know, move inside, communication between the servers, and then how you present the check, and be sure that how you control the quality of the dishes, who's gonna do it on the serving, how you control the number of persons that are coming, and who are the persons who receive what when the order is coming. All that are all procedures to do that. The next step will be, you know, there is procedures also for alcoholic, you know, how to handle the bars and all that. And then is how, when it's finished the service, what are they going to do? So there is a procedure for that, you know. People are going to clean the stations. They have to put all this, be sure that there's always, you know, oils and salts and pepper and all these items that they have to put it on the side. They have to clean the tables. Sometimes they have to completely clean the tables. They have to put the chairs on the top of the table upside down, and they have to be sure that the floors are clean and nice and everything is completely clean. And after that happens and everything is on the table, there is no food, there is no leftovers on the floor, the tables are clean, the floors are clean, and they make also the order that they need for the next day. And the same thing that they do in the kitchen, they do outside, you know. They need napkins, they need whatever they needed, isn't it? They check and in the case of the bars, they check the gas, they check the CO2, they check the amount of consume of maybe non-alcoholic beverage, lemons, orange fruits, whatever they need to put it over there, juices and things like that they needed, and then the alcoholic beverage. On the alcohol, there is a lot of things of doing, you know. The only way that they can have alcohol on the racks is the alcohol who has the stamp and the sign inside of the restaurant. And as soon as they finish the bottles, what that they have to do with that bottle?
They have to remove the sticker from the bottle.
Yes, exactly. They have to remove the sticker and they have to get back. So we want to be sure that they don't throw it into the garbage. All the bottles that are empty, they return to control, isn't it? To be sure that they have all these controls, put it over there and they use it. That is in case to avoid that, you know, the bartenders bring their own bottles and start selling their own alcohol, isn't it?
Yep.
So there is a lot of tricks and deals, you know, when you create a procedure, you want to be sure, especially on the bar area, you need very trustable people, guys, because on the bar area you can lose a lot of money over there. Yes or not, Chef?
You got to trust everybody. But if not, you've got to have good video cameras.
Because let me tell you this, on the bar area is one of the most sensitive areas of the restaurant. You need to have professionals that are, you know, qualified, that are really you can trust on them, because it's easy to get money from the bar and to really, you know, affect the operation. And, you know, like, you know, giving alcohol to people, you know, put extra money, sell and put sales on their pocket, especially the people who pay cash. It's just an old deal. So all that we have camera, security, and controls that you have to figure very tight in these areas. So we're gonna get a little bit, and we're gonna talk about the standard portion cost, guys. So remember, we talked a little bit, I think last week on Thursday, we talked a little bit about that. So when we get into the kitchen and we have to work in the kitchen with this production control system, we want to be sure that the cost of the items are the right cost that we put in over there, especially when we produce portion controls. And that, why is that? Because we need to be sure that when we portion, when we cut it, we're gonna lost some of the products, isn't it? And we wanna be sure that the cost is absorbed by the portion. So there is a lot of that. So we have this system and we call, edible portion as example. Edible portion is a portion of food that we serve it to our customers after the food has been cooked and cut, isn't it? But when that happens, that portion, it reduced in size. It has been trimmed and cut and cleaned. So the initial cost that we call as purchase, isn't it? When it has on the raw state, is not the same that the cost of the edible portion. It makes sense for you guys? So
this is what we were kind of talking about on, was that Friday? Friday, I believe, talking about, edible portion, EP versus AP.
So when you are doing your recipes, you have to be sure that in some products like proteins, you need to have the edible portion. The edible portion price. Otherwise, your cost is gonna be completely out or completely off. It makes sense, guys? And you have to put attention to this, and we're gonna make a little exercise before we get into we're gonna get into the cost control part that is gonna be next week. But this is something that we consider, Potatoes, when you peel it and clean it, you lost some potatoes. So when you have the final product, you need to have a cost for that trimmings and pieces that you lost in the process of producing the portions. That's what we call edible portion prices. So, and now also you have, yield percentage. And yield percentage is an amazing factor that we use to move up and down, especially in the kitchens, isn't it, Chef, when we have to produce less and more. And we're going to talk a little more the next week, and then I'm not going to go in details too much, but this is something, is a little formula that we apply to the recipes when we have to move the amount of portions that we need to do from a recipe. Make sense, Chef?
Yes, it does.
So if you have to go up because you have to produce for more, then you just apply that yield percentage to your recipe, and it's easy to move the amounts. So guys, on purchasing, I'm gonna dedicate a chapter to the beginning of the restaurant, isn't it? When you open a restaurant, you need to start making this purchasing of equipment, isn't it? Of furniture, of utility, of tools that you need in the kitchen, isn't it? And all that, it's another monster that you have to deal with. And there's very critical to be sure that you hold the risk, you really save money, and you keep on your budget, because it's easy to get out, isn't it? It's the same when it's the same when my wife don't let me get in by myself to a Sur La Tabla, all these places that they have things, because it's like I'm like a baby in a candy store, isn't it? I want
Yeah,
everything.
me too.
So it has to be some control and budget, you know, and so we have rules in this house. If I need to put an equipment or a tool, one has to get out, one has to get in, because we don't have more space in the kitchen for more tools. So I would like to have more, isn't it? Because there is always more is better. But that's the same what happened when you open a new operation, you know. Purchase is very important, and you are tight of budgets, you know, because that's a critical thing. So especially when you have to work plates and glasses and uniforms and pots and pans and all these things that you needed. So what are you needed? It depends, of course, the same thing. It depends of the concept, is, you know, what you decided to work. Are you going to work with China? Are you going to work with glassware? Are you going to work with silverware? Are you going to work stainless steel, or it's going to be all this disposable? So all these things need to be put it over there, isn't it? And but you need to be sure that you choose, and everything has to go with the design, isn't it? With the atmosphere and all what you need to be sure that it match all these things. So let's see, on the front of the house, you have plateware and glassware and flatware. And on serviceware, you have all these teas and coffee pots and marking trays and serving trays and water pitchers and salts and salt and peppers and grinders and all things that you need to buy, isn't it? If you have a table service. And then you have all the small wares, you know, and blenders and all these things that you needed over there. And then you have tabletop decorations and base and bodies and holders and flower holders and things like that, isn't it? And maybe you're gonna have linens and you're gonna have uniforms, and then you need to have probably menu covers, you know, or holders, wine cocktail covers, check presenters, all these things that it looks like nothing, but this start adding to the list, you know, and it keep adding to this huge amount of things that you need to buy. So you need to be sure that you have a list of all these items and quantities and qualities that you need to have it. And you be sure that you don't get out and get crazy, isn't it? So let's see, on plates, what kind of plates are you going to use? Are you going to use China? What kind of do it? And go to the suppliers, guys, that can deliver, isn't it, Chef? And
yes, that is correct.
Think on the amounts that you needed. But what happens if you grow? Are they going to be in the future? You can get that in the future if you want an amount. If it breaks, that you can have replacements for the things that you needed. Do they guarantee? So sometimes, you know, cheap is not good on that. You want to have accurate things, you know. And when you have to buy, you know, plateware and glassware, let me tell you, you know, I will go with quality. So I've been doing that for years. These open places, and let me tell you, on this plateware, you have high resistance. You have, you know, these things that are this kind of plateware that are made with these materials that are so resistant to heat, resistant to frozen, resistant of change of temperatures. They can throw into the floor that if you have a floor that has there is not a hard floor, they will not broke. So, and they are really resistant. They cost more, but at the time, maybe they have a long life period, isn't it? So you have to consider all that with your budget. And the same of the glassware. They have this type of glass that has kind of metal inside. They have these high resistant glasses that they really they don't break, easy. So you have to be sure that you have the quality. And when the guy of the glasses is gonna come with a catalog, you're gonna get crazy because it's a book, let me tell you, with maybe 100 types of glasses that you have to choose from. I'm not kidding, guys. And with different prices, depends on the quality. So it's your budget that has to be in the middle, and you have to be sure that you try the first one. The same at flatware, if you have a stainless steel, there's stainless steels that they get very easily scratched, isn't it, Chef? And
Yes,
in short period
very
of
much
time,
so.
you will see your silverware all scratched, and then that doesn't look good. So you have to choose the right model, the right weight, the right quality that you need to have for your flatware. And be sure that if you need reposition, they will have in a long period of time. Like it needs to be a company that in 2 years I will need more. They will guarantee that I have exactly the amount that I needed. Yes or not? If I don't want, especially in restaurants, we make invest for 5-10 years, isn't it? So we really want to be sure that we have that flatware, that glassware, that plateware when we need it. And it's easy to get crazy in that because they're gonna come with these catalogs, and you have all kind of items in the catalogs, and then you start thinking, I want this, I forget of that, I want more that, and this and that, and this and that, and at the end your budget is gonna be broken, isn't it? And every time that you say this and that, it's chin 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 on your pocket, guys. And you will have to be sure that you work with your budgets. For the back of the house, guys, we have the same thing, isn't it? It's even more complicated because there's more items over there. So you have all the things that you need, pots and pans of all the tools that we need in the kitchens. There are hundreds and hundreds. And but there's a list of essentials, guys. Let me put it this way. Knives, isn't it? Kitchen needs to have some knives. So normally, now modern times, we let the people come with their own tools, isn't it? Because for me, knives are like your toothbrush. Every person has their own way to treat the knives, But you always need to have some knives in the kitchen, isn't it, Chef?
Oh, yes, you always need some, for like people that just don't have it, or prep people, or any of that sort of stuff.
But if you're a cook, you need to have your own tools, isn't it? Because you have your own ways that you treat your knives and things. So it's part of that. But yes, you need to have some knives, and maybe you have to buy cutting boards, and cutting boards, there's qualities on that, and sizes, and you have colors for everything, because you need for poultry, for fish, for beef, for vegetables and produce, for dairy, and all these things for already cooked food. So you have all these different colors of cutting boards, that's the way that you have to use. And that is because you need to have those procedures of sanitation that you need to keep on top, that this is part of the HACCP guidelines. So there you are. And then maybe you need mixing bowls, isn't it? And they have to have different sizes of mixing bowls: 8 quarts, 5 quarts, 4 quarts, 3 quarts, 1.5 quarts, 3/4 of a quart. There's all sizes, isn't it? And there is all qualities, of the stainless steel. It depends on your budget. They have, the half resistant stainless steels, bowls, to very cheap stainless steels. It depends on your budget. And then you have pans. And on pans, there's all kind of pans that need, saucepans, saute pans, braising pan, fry pans, and there's different sizes. You have gallons, half a gallon, 2 gallons, 5 gallons, 8 gallons. It depends on the volume of that you need in the kitchen, and you need to know exactly how many saute pans. I used to work in the kitchens, that has a lot of French style kind of food. I remember I used to have just myself, in one service, I used like 50 pans. 50 pans.
Oh, yeah.
In one service. So the restaurant has, I'm not kidding, like 100 pans, just that size, it was 9 inches pans to sort. And you have 9 inches and 12 inches, just in case that you need more. And that's the way that they have. So how many you need, you see, depends on how it moves, how fast it moves. But it will be bad that you need a pan and there's no pans because you use it all. So the experience of the chef, it gets into the middle of that to know exactly how the movement is, and the experience of the people on the restaurant to know how much of this you needed. And then you have, kitchen spoons, as we talk with Eric, these different sizes, portion sizes that we use for portioning and all that. Same with the ladles that we have, 1 ounces, 2 ounces, 8 ounces. It depends on what you're using for, and we have it all. And we have whisks, and this whisk, we have different types of whisk, We have ones that we use to whisk, they have very fine strains that we use for whisk creams and things like that. And we have the ones that we call piano whisk, that the strings looks like a piano strings. They're heavy and thick, and we use for like make purees and things that requires a little heavy ones, isn't it? And the sizes you need, you want 10 inches, you want 20 inches, you want 30 inches long. Why? It depends on what are you doing. Turners, example, you have hamburgers, you need turners, isn't it? That kind of things. If you have a flat grill or a griddle, isn't it? You need turners to work on that. Tongs, we need a lot of tongs in the kitchens. If you work with sauté pan especially, tongs are needed. And how many, which size? All that has to be determined with the people who are there. And there's a storage equipment, and shelving, and buzzing and utility cars, and shell pan racks, and food storage containers, the ones that we call cambros, and they have on all sizes, and ones are for refrigeration, and others are for freezing, and drying racks, the racks that is like little cars that we put the food over there to move it from one place to another. So all that has to be bought, isn't it, Chef?
Yes, that is correct. And it's
then janitorial things, like cleaning, microfiber cloths and cleaning rates, and food service chemicals and sanitation, trash cans and recycle bins, and mops and buckets, and wet floor signs, and brooms and dustpans, and sanitation buckets, isn't it? All these things that we needed in the kitchen. So you keep adding the list, and it keep getting longer and longer and longer and longer and longer, and you can see. And all these things has to be considered when you get a business. You cannot work without sanitation buckets, isn't it, Chef?
Oh, you cannot at all. I think is that a health code? I think it might be a health
Yes, it's a health code. And you need to have trash cans. You need to have all these things. You need to have, you need to have mops and mop buckets, You need to have it. So at the end, all that counts. One more in your budget, guys, when you need to open. So you need experienced person to help you to understand all these things that needed when you open a restaurant. And there's these considerations that you need to put, the cost, because there is a budget, isn't it? The durability, the quality, and how much how heavy duty you want. There is all types of things on the market, the same as the caliber of the stainless steel on the tables, isn't it, Chef?
Yes. So many different styles, so many things you can get.
Yes. So the cost, the durability, then the brand, you have to analyze the brands. You have to be sure that the brand that you get is a brand that is, it's on the market, that is, they are responsible, they know what they're doing, and they will help you. They will help you to replace if you need more. all these things. How long are they're gonna use? There's some things that they guarantee you. You know, I give you this ball, 5 years what guarantee, 10 years guarantee. They put it like that. So you really need to be a beast to break one of those things, you know. And then you have to think the replace, you know. You have to think which company you need to decide at the moment that you need to replace, so you have consistency and on the equipment, consistency on the tools that you needed to have on the kitchen.
Chef.
Yes,
And vent hoods are so expensive.
Yes.
You know, I mean, all of those things are very expensive. It costs a lot of money.
So, and then when you got to a kitchen equipment, guys, it depends on how you consider, you know. This, if you need a grill, let's see, you need a fryer, you need fryers. Okay, what are you producing? I'm producing chicken and fish. I'm on a chicken and fish. You cannot put chicken and fish on the same fryer. And what else are you gonna put? I'm gonna fry potatoes. You cannot put potatoes on the same fryer that you do in chicken and you do in fish, isn't it, Chef?
Yeah, you can't. I mean, it's going to taste horrible.
Yes, so it's enough. You're gonna sell enough amount of fish, fried fish, to justify the fryer, or maybe you're gonna need a cast iron container that you put it on the flames and fry your chicken instead of use a fryer. That kind of consideration you need to put it on display the moment that you need the equipment, and issue how fast you need it and all these things. How many fires you need depends on how many dishes that they're gonna use things. Are you gonna need big fires because you need to do big stocks and things like that are gonna take time to do it? You know, sometimes if you want to make a stock, the stock takes hours and hours to cook. So they cannot be in the moment of you are in the rush hour and you don't have space to work because you have 2-3 stocks doing cooking over there. So all these consideration needs to be that. And another thing that you consider is the rentability, the profitability that the equipment is gonna give it. So it justify to buy an equipment if you sell enough volume to pay that equipment. It makes sense, guys? So another thing, the size. So which size of grill did you need it? So how many patties you think that you're gonna, hamburgers that you're gonna sell in the rush hour? And now you have to think it on the future. What happens if your business grow? How big you need to do? You need 36 inches or 48 inches? Then you see, it's different sizes. Are you gonna need the stoves with the oven on the back, or you gonna use just the stoves? Or you can get the ovens in the other place that is easy to use it. So all these considerations, you have to put it in front of you the moment that you need. Refrigeration, tables. There is one big thing, guys. Remember, guys, there is this insane amount of restaurants that are open and closing every year, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
So when they close, there is these auctioneers that come to the places and says, okay, I buy you all the equipment, but I'm gonna pay you at 10 cents of a dollar for what you pay. Here's the money, I take everything. And people are desperate, isn't it? Because they have all debt.
Oh, yeah.
Says, yes, take it out. They take everything. They got that cash money over there. And the auctioneers, they have all these equipments. There's many all over the country of those. So some equipment is easy to buy in second hands, like tables, isn't it?
Tables, chairs, you name it.
Stoves, ovens, all these things. The only thing that I will not recommend to buy second hands is refrigeration, because that's where your money is going to be stored. It's better to get new on that one. What do you think, Chip?
Oh, yes, for sure.
So now they, I know that they guarantee, they says I will sell you this and I guarantee that it's maintenance and I guarantee 5 years of working and things like that. But we really, really put attention that you need it. You need ice makers. What's the volume that they need on the ice makers? You know, all these things has to be considering. You don't want to get out of ice at the middle of the production, isn't it? And then you have to go to the gas station to buy ice. So, because guys, we have that tight budget that we have in the middle, guys, it's easy to get crazy, isn't it? It's easy to get seduced by the companies that are gonna give you these beautiful catalogs with these many things that you can buy it. But if it's, you have to think about it. Is that really what you need? Or is that really what you want? So there's a difference on what you need and what you want, isn't it? Sometimes you want more than what you really needed. So be sure that you just get at the beginning strictly what is needed for your operation. So the smaller that you work when you start is the better, because the first months of the operations are the crucial ones that you need a lot of cash, isn't it? Because you're gonna work on losses. So you don't want to spend a lot of money on things that you don't need it. You have to be very tight on that. Like too many glassware and too many things, isn't it? That you can spend and have it in your shelves, but really needed that amount or not? So you have to put attention on that. You know, there is this huge, easy to fall on this seduction that you receive from the suppliers that come and offer, you know, these amazing things. Because when you open a restaurant, they really, you know, it's like you're gonna be like a candy, a children in a candy store, don't you think, Chef?
Oh yes.
Guys, so weigh the factors when you choose quantities, you know. So some distribution offer price, they break you, they will help you. You have to negotiate with him, you know. You have to be sure that they always are gonna negotiate, guys. So they always want a good deal. You wanna get a good deal on the things that you buy it. No matter the size, they can give you a good deal if you really negotiate with them, talk with them, make it be part of your project. You know, making good decisions, it's very important. So guys, another thing, you know, be sure that wherever you bought it, you know, are under the safety standards, guys. You want to be sure that you get all these approved, reputable suppliers that they know that they work with food safety standards. And that is related with the type of equipment and everything that you're gonna get it, you know. So don't get cheap. Cheap things are not good on that. So guys, when we do that, when we buy it, be sure that when we store it, we already talked about this. We want to be sure, guys, when we store it, we have all these labeled. We talk about that too.
Always label.
Always
If
labels.
If not, a lot of times, you know, I mean, if it's not labeled, you know, people are going to throw it away or are going to use it or something.
Yes. Nothing in the kitchen should be put in a refrigerator and storage without labeling. And when you're gonna get into the kitchen to work, guys, you're gonna be sure that the refrigerators, everything inside of the refrigerator is labeled. storage, first in, first out, you know. The newest on the back, the third oldest on the middle, the second lowest on the middle front, and the oldest in front, isn't it? That's how we handle the things. So guys, I think it was a lot of information.
I like
It's time for our break, guys. So we're gonna, it's 11, so we're gonna return at 12:10, everybody.
Nice. All right.
12:10 back, guys.
Sounds good. See you at 12:10.
Yes, chef. Chef.
I needed it back then, but I wanted to feel it. It's me now. I don't know if you can take it. No, you wanna see me naked. I wanna be in the remind me of a West Side Story. Growing up in Spanish Harlem. She living a life just like a movie star. But there must be you. Body like the summer, touch it like no other.
Come back.
Bonjour, chef. Oh shit.
Bonjour.
Comment ça va?
Ça va bien et toi?
I don't speak traditional French. I speak Cajun.
Cajun.
Yeah.
But that's the
So it's more like comment ça va, which means how are you?
Comment ça va? Ça va bien?
Ça va bien.
Oh, ça va, ça va?
I'm doing all right. How about you? Well, that's so-so, but
Hey guys,
I'm a little rusty.
welcome back everybody. Let's put yourselves in the camera so we know that you're back here, please. Thank you. Hey Bella, hey Haley, hey Mina, hey Becca,
We're finally
Cameron,
moved in.
hey Joseph, hey Kaden, hey Ibrin. How are you, Haley? All good?
Great. The moving was a lot.
Was a lot? Yeah.
It started raining in the middle
Oh
and
my God.
it sucked, but it also helped cool us down.
Yeah. Now you're okay? Are you still unpacking?
Yeah, we're still unpacking. I got all of my stuff set up, so that was
Yeah.
fun, but don't know where any of our cooking stuff is.
Okay, little by little.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it looks good.
Thank you.
So there you are, guys. So we're gonna get into the second part. We're gonna start working about menus, guys. So there we are. So we're gonna start working with our menus, guys. So for those of you guys, at the end of this short lecture, you haven't done your homework, you're gonna start working on your homework and you have to deliver it before we finish today, guys. So I want everybody's homework today sharing with us, please. So I'm gonna, before we start, I'm gonna go back, guys, on this. I know that we already saw this video, but I think it's important to put it back because okay.
My Wi-Fi just went out and I just came back on. Sorry.
Okay. So there we are, how to plan a restaurant menu, for the restaurant business. So there we are, guys. That's related with today's. So let's put it on.
A restaurant's menu is a very powerful brand statement. In fact, you are what you serve when it comes to a restaurant menu. The question might be, how do you plan a restaurant menu? One thing that's very important to keep in mind is that your restaurant menu will have a very powerful impact on many parts of your restaurant business. It will determine how many people you need in the kitchen to produce the food. It will determine many of your price points. It will determine how your business performs from the point of view of check average. How much is each person going to spend when they eat at your restaurant? And you have a lot of decisions to make when you plan your restaurant menu to make sure that it delivers what you want it to in terms of your idea, in terms of how you want the restaurant to feel for the guests and for your staff. One of the first questions you're going to ask yourself is, how does a restaurant menu embody my idea for my restaurant? If you want to have a Southwestern cuisine restaurant, well, pretty obviously you need to have a menu that delivers that kind of food. You also want to know how many items you're going to offer your guests. Will you expect them to order a la carte, individual items from the menu, or will you expect them to order what's called prix fixe, or a fixed price menu, where they spend one price for multiple courses? All of this depends on the style of your restaurant, the level of service, the level of price that you're expecting your guests to pay. When you're working on your menu, it's important to start asking yourself, what is the guest going to think when they see this menu? They may see your menu online. They may see your menu for the first time when they sit down in your restaurant. What are they going to feel? What are they going to think? Are they going to say, ooh, I want that? Or are they going to be overwhelmed by too many choices? Does the menu make them feel comfortable? Does it make them feel excited? Does it make them feel bored? Does it make them feel overwhelmed? How does the guest feel about the menu and the items on it? Also, what does the menu say about your concept of food? Do you provide seasonal ingredients? Or are you the kind of restaurant that's serving asparagus in December? Do you serve local produce? Or do you serve everything under the sun? It's very important to think like a guest when you're planning a menu. What are the choices I want to make? What are the choices I want to have? And how are they going to affect my enjoyment of my meal? Another important thing to know about planning a menu is that a menu should not be something that's engraved in stone and never changes. You need to change your menu, and you need to create a menu that you expect to change. There will be dishes that will be more seasonally appropriate. You're not going to sell a lot of beef stew in August in New York City. You need to think about, what do people want to eat at different times of year? What is appealing to people at different times of year? Now, if you're really lucky, you'll have a dish that people love so much, they come back for it. What you would call a signature dish. A dish that people say, oh, I've got to go to that restaurant because I have to have that. Well, people become very attached to those dishes. So there's an interesting balance to find. You have to add new things to keep the excitement for your regular guests. You have to hold on to those signature dishes that people keep coming back for again and again. Change your menu seasonally. Think about signature items that people will associate with your business, and keep it fresh. Add new things to keep people interested in your menu.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, chef. Yes, chef.
Yes, chef, we can hear you.
Yes, chef.
Yes, chef.
Okay. So guys, remember guys, customers cannot work. So this is something, you know, the customers cannot walk to the restaurant and start thinking, you know, what is that you cooking today? And you start explaining what are they cooking today. They have no time for that. You know, the restaurant needs somebody to offer it that's already there, so that people can go and read it faster and choose what they want, isn't it? So menus saves to time for the customers instead of start asking what is this and come the person and explain and this all that. You have all that and save time, and if it's well ordered, it helps to make the right choices. So there you are. That's a restaurant, you know. So, but before you start making your restaurant, your menu, you have to be sure that you think and many other factors that just the plate. You know, you have to be sure that the dishes, remember, are going to come from the kitchen. So you want to be sure that whatever you're going to put in the menu has to be done in a way that it works efficiently in the kitchen. That means, you know, you have to be sure that you don't have one dish that you just buy elements, ingredients just for one dish, and if you don't sell it, you're gonna have the storage. You have to discard that dish. So you can sell it in many ways, and be sure that that ingredient, especially if it's expensive, you can sell it in one way or another. The size of the kitchen is completely, you know, depends on the size of your menu. The same as the amount of people that works in the kitchen, it depends completely of the complexity of your menu. Yes, chef.
Are you sharing?
Yes. Can you see the screen, guys?
I cannot.
I see the restaurant.
Then it might be my. Then it might be my computer.
Let me go again, chef.
Mine's working.
All right, then it might be mine. You know,
What
with the
about
new computer.
what about right now? Can you see it, chef?
No, but I might have some settings wrong. But that's all right. It just happened, so I'll mess with my computer. It might be my computer. As long as everybody else can see it, that's fine.
Okay, everybody see it? Yeah?
All right, then
Yeah,
that's
chef.
fine.
Okay. So remember that, guys. It's not just choose dishes and put it over there, you know. It's a matter of the equipment, it's a matter of amount of people, it's a matter of the ingredients, you know. You want to be sure that you can have over there. Decide what type of menu you have, you know. You're gonna have a fixed menu. You're gonna have a la carte menu. You're gonna have a seasonal menu. You're gonna have, you know, a fixed price menu. All that has to be decided for you guys in the way that you have to present these dishes to you, this project that you're making these days. So all that, then you have to all the things that you're gonna decide about the menu is the design of the menu and all that. We're gonna talk a little later. You wanna have the right price. So then we wanna work on that, you know, it's gonna be the menu need to have the right price in every dish. So how that works? How do I put price on the menu? That's a whole another whole ordeal to how that we be sure that we put the right price into the dishes that we have in the menu. That's gonna be the work that we're gonna do next week. So, but you need to have the standard recipes done, isn't it? And you want to be sure that with the standard recipes done, you cost all that. And then when you cost, you don't want to overcharge because that will scare the customers. But you don't want to undercharge because then you're gonna lose money. So, and you have to consider also, you know, the competence in the middle that you have to fight with them you don't want to be out of the market with the prices that you put in, but also you don't want to be undercharging because then you're gonna lose money. So all that is part of the whole way that to put the right price into that. There is a whole deal, guys. So remember, you know, the design menu depends on a lot of variables and ideas, you know, and you have to put it in black and white. This is something that you have to work on that. So there's a lot of thoughts in creating menus, guys. The menu, it's a live document, isn't it? The menu is the one that is going to pay the bills, guys. So it's the central core of your operation. It's crucial to be, you know, well balanced. It's crucial to have the right dishes over there. Be very careful what you put on the menu, guys, because that is the central neuralgic system of the whole restaurant. Don't you think, Chef?
For sure it is.
Around the menu is what everything moves. So how do we plan our menu? We start with the concepts and demographics, you know. That's why you need to have the concept and demographic done. So if you haven't done it, you have to do it today, as soon as we finish this, and this has to be finished today, guys. I need to have the description of your customer. Who is your customer? So somebody sent me, you know, my planning is to work with any customer. No, that's not going to work. You cannot work for the whole universe because that's not the way it happened. You cannot say, I'm going to open the restaurants and I'm going to wait that coming, you know, anybody can come to my restaurant. That's not going to happen, guys. That's the wrong thing that's a wrong way to think. Don't you think, Jeff?
I completely agree with you. Very wrong way.
You have to work for a specialized target market. That's the only way that you guarantee that it's going to be okay. And you're going to focus all your effort to that group. So saying that needs to be, send it to me and to Jeff Cliff. This, you know, target market. Who's your target market that you want to work with for? When you plan your menu, stick to the theme, you know, you stick to all the concept that you have. Don't get out of your concept. So if you are talking about Mexican food, don't put Chinese food in the middle. You don't put a pasta in the middle because it's out of the concept. You want to keep all the things into the concept. There is a lot of these mistakes that people, you know, I want this dish, that I want this dish from here. So this is what I want because my grandmother do this beautiful dish and I want to put it over there. No, that's not the way it works. So it's the happiness of your customers. From that happiness depends the success that you have in your restaurant, guys. And the first tool that they have it over there is the menu that allows them to navigate into the experience that you offer into them. Isn't it, Chef?
Yes, that is correct. The experience.
Yes. So we use a lot of tasting menus, guys, when we're on our open restaurants. So we get target markets and we bring it back and we make them taste and we give them these little pages to score them, you know, and put all the things. And we really do a lot and we spend some money doing that because that helps us to be sure that whatever dishes we think and we put it over there, those are the ones that are really going to like them, isn't it? So yes. Always, you know, there is a sense of how you say it's a guessing, isn't it? It's always a guessing.
Yes,
when you
guessing game.
It's a guessing game, you know. You're gonna put the dishes, and at the end you are guessing until you start working. How is this gonna work? And sometimes you need to change dishes, but you don't want to have lazy dishes. You don't want to have dogs inside of your restaurant. Too much dogs, isn't it? You want to have a lot. So you don't want to get into the statistics, you know, that only 18%, that, you know, like 80%, 85% of your dishes, of your money come from, you know, 18% of your dishes. So that will be bad, isn't it? So don't take too many risks at the beginning, guys. Try to work, you know, and be sure that you really place the guests. So I know that there is this tendency of the chefs and says, you know, I want to show myself, I want to show who I am, and I want to express myself as a cook. So I want them to experience what I know. And that's the tendency that as a chef, you know, it's a kind of selfish thing that you want to show who you are. And that's a normal thing that we have. But in this case, What we really want to do is work for our future guests instead of work for ourselves. So we have to put on the side our, our selfishness, on the side, and be sure that we have and put in the size of our guests, on the shoes of our guests. Remember, guys, that your menu is the foundation to your standardized production. Yes or not, Chef?
Yes, for sure.
So you have to be sure that your menu match the size of your kitchen, the capacity to produce it. Be sure that the standard recipe of every dish you have in your menu, you have a standard recipe for every dish that you have in your menu. Be sure that the staff are they're well trained in all these dishes in order to perform correctly. They know the size, how to do it, how to work it. So this is something that we work before we open. Everybody has to be well trained in order to be sure that we keep with these procedures, because this is the only way that we can keep control in our operation. Saying that, guys, you have to start working on your menu project. Remember, guys, your first draft maybe is not going to be very perfect. There's some meetings that are going to be better than others. So you are going to write that, and you're going to bring us to Chef Cliff and myself, and we're going to discuss and we're going to ask you questions. Why? Why is this? Why is that? And when we are completely okay, we're going to give you green light, so you can, when you have the green light, you can start putting that on a design you really put it into the design your menu. Before you do that, we need to be sure that you are doing well with the menus that you decided. So we want to be sure that all the dishes are, fit the concept that you have, and the right sizes and everything. So few things to remember, guys. What kind of restaurant you choose, with your name and everything, isn't it? And your menu has to match that. What are the important characteristics of a menu of the restaurant that you have been choose? What is the message that you want to deliver? So there has to be a menu is kind of a history, isn't it, Chef? It's kind of a,
yes.
It's going to tell a history. And that's what is that history that you want to tell with that menu? What are the details of that menu? What is beyond that menu? What's behind that? What you're trying to say is what is that is behind that? And then you want to be sure that it's large enough, it's short enough, the colors, what kind of images, if you want to put images and all that is going to be a part of the design menu, guys. So for your menu project, guys, using the data that you've been working in the last 3 weeks, you have to design your menu. It's minimum required 3 appetizers or starters, 3 main courses with sides, and 3 desserts. This is the minimum that you need to put it in your project. Hey, but put it that when you do that, you have to present it to the chefs. We're going to discuss your menus with your instructors, and when you have the green from your instructors, you're going to start making your standard recipes for each dish. Guys, did you understand?
Yes, Chef.
Yes, Chef.
Okay.
Yes, Chef.
Okay. Because we have only 14 homeworks that has delivered, that means we have 16, we have 20 people that hasn't done the homework yet. So these 20 students that haven't done the work, right now you have to put yourselves into the demographic target and you have to deliver before this class is over. The ones who already sent me, guys, you can start working in your menus. Minimum 3 appetizer or stars, minimum 3 main courses, and minimum 3 desserts. Any question?
Do we send it to you once we're finished, Chef?
When you finish the draft, you can just put it on a Word document or just an email and send it to Chef Cliff with a copy to me.
Copy that, Chef.
And you cannot start design your menu before we finish
the demographics.
Before we finish the demographics and before we put the right. So tomorrow I'm going to show you some websites that you can use to design your menus after you have all the dishes put it on. So I know that there's one student, I think it was Maya that sent me a menu, but it was completely, you know, like a draft. So you have to start working on that a little better, Maya. Okay. So you cannot send me the design menu completely when we don't even talk about the recipes, and we don't even talk about that. And you have to do the standard recipes. So you have to get into the portal, make a copy of the standard recipes, and make a standard recipe for every dish that you need to do it, including sides. It makes sense?
Yes.
Any question?
Yes, Chef.
Yes, Maya? No
I was
questions?
agreeing. I said yes, Chef.
Okay.
She was agreeing with you.
Hey, Chef, I was just gonna ask on my concept, you know, on the, you know, the ceviche and everything. What would, I mean, because technically that could be an appetizer and that could be a main dish also. So, I mean, I'm kind of having a little trouble, you know, thinking about what kind of appetizer would go first and, you know, before that.
You're not necessarily has to put an appetizer, but you can have just a list of 6 or 7 dishes.
Oh, okay, cool. Thanks, Chef.
Okay, so right now do we have to do the standardized menu, or are we just coming up with the dishes right now?
No, you have to come with the dishes, send us the dishes and discuss with us. And after we give you the green light, then you start standardize your recipes, okay?
Thank you.
Don't start standardized recipes before we put it okay, because we want to be sure that you're doing well.
Do you want the recipe as well, Chef, or just the
first just a list of your menu dishes that you're gonna put it over there, and we want to discuss with you guys. So guys, if you're gonna sell, you know, if you're gonna say I'm gonna put chicken, grilled chicken, be sure that you have grilled chicken and you have the sides that you're gonna serve with that. Anything else, Chef Cliff?
No, Chef.
So the 20 persons that hasn't sent me yet the homework, you have to work in your homework first before you send me any dish. We want to share that. You want to hear the demographics. You want to hear the target, okay? Who is your market target? Anything else, guys? Without saying, we're going to stay here connected with Chef Cliff. You can start working if you can. You can disconnect yourselves if you want, but I want to see that work at the end of the class.
What time are we coming back onto the Zoom if we disconnect?
We finish class at 2 o'clock, so we can. Let's see. We can return at 1:45. What about that, Chef?
Sounds great.
Thank you.
If you want to stay connected, it's fine with me.
Hey, Chef Pablo, I totally forgot to ask this question.
Yes.
For the name, so do you want just the basic names of the items, or we would put them on the menu?
Don't understand your question. You want
So like
you're gonna send me just that's the menu, like you said that you want to put like you said spaghetti bolognese. That's what you want to send me.
Okay, because I was asking because like for like, and this is just me. For some words like alligator and shrimp, I was gonna put it in like French, just because it's
Yeah,
a
so
Cajun Italian
if you're
restaurant.
gonna put it in French, you have to put the translation.
But what it
so
is in
we know
parentheses.
exactly what it is.
All right, so I'll just put it in parentheses by it.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you for your question.
No problem.
Excuse me, Chef.
Yes, Naya.
So right now we're just sending you guys a document of what we want to put on our menu.
Maya, you haven't sent me the homework yet.
Are you talking about the targeting demographics?
Yes, let me see if I have yours.
Because I had last week.
I don't have the target demographics from you. That's the first thing that you have to send us.
Okay.
Before you start working with your menu, I want to see the target demographics.
I was confused last week. That's why I had asked, because they had a target demographics thing on, I think, the discussion. And I was asking you, was that gonna be counted, or did we have to write it out? And I think, and you said that if we did it on the dashboard, then you would count that.
You put it on the dashboard?
And that I think is target discussion or something like that, or is that separate from what the homework is?
Yeah, but the discussion is just for you guys. The discussion is just for you guys, internal between you, the students, to understand better the topic. It makes sense?
Yes.
So it's not the real homework. So you have to send us. Can you send me a copy, please?
Yes.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Haley, who was to send me?
Yes, sir. Or yes, chef. Did you get my demographics by any chance?
Let me see, Haley. No, Haley, I don't receive it.
Okay.
I haven't.
I can't remember if I emailed it or shared it to y'all.
No email, no share it.
Okay.
Can you send it back again?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Did you receive mine, Chef? I shared it with both of you guys.
I think Bella, yes, let me see.
Yeah, I think I got that.
Bella, yes, we have it, Bella.
Okay, thank you.
And let me see, it's okay, it's well done, Bella.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Chef, did y'all receive mine, or did I need to do anything more?
No, I think yes, Joshua, I think yes. Let me confirm. Joshua, no, I don't have yours, Joshua. Can you resend me, please?
Yes, sir.
So just to mention, guys, I have the ones that I receive is Lauren Bailey. I receive Richard Brown, Shane Elpick, Cameron Enriquez, Derek Grant, Becca Hayes, Bella, Joseph Cosmider, Lyric Martin, Jonathan Swanson, Christopher Wells, and Avrin Woodwall. That's the only ones that I have.
I sent it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it says the first one I sent on September 3rd.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay. I just don't know if the emails are going through.
Chef.
Okay, so I now I'm start receiving this. So Nathan, Mina, Haley,
Chef.
Joshua. Yes.
Yes, call.
On my it says I'm already sharing it with you guys.
Mine too.
Yeah. But you didn't list my name, so.
I've shared mine as well.
So, but so those that you send me, I'm just telling the ones that I have. So maybe you have to resend us, please.
I just sent it already, Chef, or to both y'all.
Joshua, I have it right now.
Thank you, Chef.
So Nathan, Nathan, I have yours right now. Let me read it and then. Nathan, are you there? That's well done.
I resent it.
Chef, did you receive mine?
Yes, Lauren.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mina, are you there?
Chef, did you receive mine?
Let me get it. One minute, guys, please. Haley, good job.
Thank you. I was very confused about it, and then I kind of figured it out.
Very good job.
Thank you.
Love that. So, Lyric, are you there?
Yes, Chef.
Larry, can you put an explanation a little bit of the dishes so we can know exactly what's going on there? It looks
Oh, you
good.
want me to describe it to you too, huh?
Yeah, that would be good. Thank you. Good job.
Okay, I'll send it to you in a second.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Chef.
Yes.
Did you say when we send in our menu, you want us to also have a description with the dishes?
If you are explaining things like I'm making a bowl and says, I'm gonna make an Mediterranean bowl. Okay, I want to know what's there.
What's in it?
But if you says I'm gonna do chicken and veggies, maybe it's more understandable, isn't it?
Okay, thank you, Chef.
Joshua, are you there? Joshua, are you there?
I don't think so.
Uh, um, Keaton, are you there?
Yes.
So before you send me your menu, you have to send me your target market, please.
I did. It's on that same document.
Oh, let me check. Oh, yes. Thank you. So it will be good if you explain as example if the gyozas are gonna come with a little sauce or something like that. That will be good. I know the ramens, it will be nice to explain what's the difference between one ramen and another. And it will be nice to know what are the desserts, because I really don't know what the desserts are. So a little explanation will help a lot on that. Keaton, good job. Did you hear me? Keaton, did you hear me?
Yeah.
Thank you. Good job.
Thank you.
Lauren Sistek, are you there?
Yes.
Well done, Lauren.
Thank you.
Ruben? Ruben?
Yes, chef.
Well done.
Thank you. By the way, is it raining over there, chef?
Where I live?
A little bit.
I don't have rain here yet. So, yes, Joe, I haven't received yours, so it would be nice if you send me, and I received the homeworks and other things, but not that.
Chef, I'm writing my demographics to send it to you all right now.
Thank you. Cameron Contreras, Martin Garcia, Ashley Gary, Tevon Hanks, Joe, Preston, Trinity, Avery Nycombe, Byron, Timothy Revilla, Dantray, James Walker, Titus White. We haven't received anything from you. You need to send us the Target market, please. How was the attendance today, Chef?
Not bad. It was three people out.
Okay. So we have the majority saying that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 13 people hasn't yet give us the demographics, Chef.
Okay.
The rest is
a couple of y'all said you sent it in early and all of that. Could you resend it if you shared it already? Can you
Which one?
reshare it? Oh,
Which
no,
one?
everybody. Any of those people that said that they sent it in, but we don't have it. I want them to resend it.
yes, they know already. So the ones that resended already get it. Joey, Ruben, Lauren, Caton, Joshua, Lyric, Haley, Mina, Nathan.
Okay.
So with the homework, I'm just doing the type of people I want to attract, my location, and that's all, right?
Yes, the age, what they want, how much they pay, that kind of things.
How much they're paying for the food?
You need to know that, isn't it? What type of people is what's economic condition that you want the people who want to be your clients to know exactly, isn't it? That's the kind of information you can get it, no problem.
Okay.
Because that you get it on census information, economic status. And it's easy to know because they know for areas, isn't it? How they work. So Lyric, are you there?
Yes, Chef.
Oh man, that looks delicious, my friend.
Thank you, Chef.
It's I love that concept. Really like it. It's breakfast bowls, isn't it?
Breakfast and lunch.
And that you're gonna deliver, isn't it? It's delivery, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. It's a really innovate. It's a lot of innovation in your concept, you know, and it's like beautiful food over there, my friend. That's so well done. I'm really
Thank you,
proud of
Chef.
you. Well done. So I don't know if Chef, if you want, did you share with Chef Cliff?
Yes, Chef.
Yes, he did. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, so saying that, you can start working with your standard recipes, Lyric.
Okay, so you want me to put them in the Excel sheet?
Yes,
and
one for each one. One for egg sandwich, one for blueberry cinnamon chia ball, one for
Okay,
each one,
okay.
okay?
You just want the portions and how much it costs and stuff like that?
Not the cost, just the recipe standard right now.
Oh, okay. Okay, I can do that.
Okay.
Oh, hey, Chef.
Yes,
We're
Haley?
just doing like, so the appetizers, I'm doing like oysters on the half shell. So we're just doing what we're gonna have, the 3 things in that menu.
Yeah, no, if you want to put more, you can put it more. The 3 things is the minimum that you need. So
Okay.
remember, if you're gonna say oysters, you have to say how many oysters you want to put it over there.
Yeah.
But if you say oysters, normally in oysters you have half a dozen and a